I just finished my first 3 paid collaborations on TikTok and Instagram, and I thought that I would share exactly how much I earned and also the 5 lessons that I learned from doing these 3 experiences. I've been on social media for around 3 to 4 years, specifically YouTube, where I share my monthly budgets, my budgeting tips, how much I earn and where that money goes. But over the past 6 months, I've more so transitioned over to Instagram in the hopes to create a full-time income on that particular platform, as well as TikTok as well. Now, the videos that I actually post over on those 2 platforms are food content created. So I make recipes, I post them, and then with that, in the hopes of working with particular brands that I enjoy using in my own home and getting paid to promote those brands within those videos. The first 5 months, I received absolutely no paid promotions, no collaborations, as I was slowly and gradually building up my platform and obviously my following as well. Currently, I have 11,000 followers on Instagram and I just reached 50,000 followers on TikTok, which to me, I think is a great achievement, especially within 6 months and building Instagram up from 0 followers and TikTok basically the same. I think I had like 500 followers before I seriously started posting like almost every single day of food content creation. The hopes that I have with this type of content on TikTok and Instagram is to replace my teaching income, so then I can purely focus on that particular type of content creation, which is recipe creating and developing and promoting different brands. I received in the month of the very end of February and March 3 paid collaborations. 2 of them are on my actual Instagram and my TikTok, and then the 3rd was a UGC creation video. So UGC stands for user generated content, where you make the video, you send it off to the brand, and then the brand kind of just does whatever they want with that video or the content that you've created for them. Before I tell you exactly how much I earned from those 3 collaborations, I'm going to share my 5 lessons that I actually learned from doing these 3 paid promotions, because I learned a lot. There isn't too much information out there specifically targeted towards Australian content creators. No one really talks too much about these things. I feel like a lot of content creation is learn as you go, and you kind of have to pay your dues and make the mistakes so then you don't do them again. But the first lesson that I learned was make sure that you are charging your worth. Time is money, basically, and if you are taking time out of your day to create content for a brand, you really should be paying for it. Now, the amount that you charge, there's different formulas, but really it's dependent on how engaging your content is, how much you are willing to work for, and how much you want to charge. Don't do anything for free. I don't particularly agree with doing a lot of things for free. If you want to build relationships with particular brands, obviously that's something to consider. However, if you are putting hours, whether that be the actual content creation, the back and forth with emails, any calls, you really should be paying for that. And I, at the beginning, was really not charging enough, I don't think. I even still think that maybe my rates now are still quite low in comparison to some other content creators, but you need to charge whatever you are comfortable with. So my minimal base rate, I need to match my teaching day income. That is the minimum that I would accept. I don't want to work any less than that, because to me, I might as well just go and teach for a day then. Also, you need to take into consideration when you are charging your rates that you need to pay taxes on those, that if you have student loans or HECS debt, you need to take money out for those, as well as your superannuation. So for myself personally, whenever I get paid from a brand or from those brands that I did get paid from, I had to subtract 46% from that total and put it aside for those 3 things. So taxes, my HECS debt, and obviously my superannuation as well. So if I'm working for free, I can't put that money set aside for my future. And I think that's really important. Obviously, you can do a few free ones here and there, especially in the beginning, just to get your, what do they call it? Your toes in the water, so to speak, to see what it's like working with different brands. But definitely I wouldn't go more than like 3 for free. So lesson number 2 is make sure that you negotiate. I did not do this for the 3 paid collaborations that I worked on. And when I was given the 4th opportunity, I did try and negotiate. However, they weren't willing to budge on what they wanted to pay me, and the price that they wanted to pay me and the content that they wanted me to make personally was not worth the money that they were going to pay me. So I unfortunately had to say no to that deal, which I stepping back, I'm actually quite happy that I did that because I know my self-worth and I know my content's worth, and the price that they were going to give me was not worth it. But everything in life is negotiable, whether that be the rate, the terms, the time that it takes for you to create the content. If you are a food content creator, you could always negotiate to have your groceries paid for, or that your rate includes groceries. Paid ads also should be negotiated. Anything that is in a contract can be negotiated. Lesson number 3 is to make sure that if a brand wants to use your content for ads, that they actually pay for it. The first collaboration that I did, they wanted to use my content for ads, and I said, yep, sure, 60 days free, use it, whatever you like. Don't do that. Basically, what a company or a brand can do is they can push your content out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people, getting much more eyeballs on their brand. And if you're not charging for either your face or your content to be out there, you're potentially losing out on followers, engagement on that content. So make sure that you are charging between 10 to 20% on top of your base rate for paid ads if they want a per month as well. So let's say that your base rate is $500. A brand really should be paying 10 to 20% of that base rate on top of. So let's say that your base rate is $500. They should be paying anywhere between $50 to $100 per month for them to use your content for ads. And I only did that with, I think it was my 3rd or the 2nd paid promotion. And you really need to be including that into a contract. It should not be for free. It is allowing the brand to basically get more eyeballs on their own brand and not yours for free. So make sure that you are including maybe 30 days free usage for ads in your base rate, and then if they want it for 60 or 90 days, that they are paying for that on top of your base rate as well. Number 4, understand that perpetuity is for life. So if a contract has that they can use your content for perpetuity, that means that they can do whatever they want with the content, put it on whatever platforms that they want, and they can use it forever. That should either be not in the contract at all, or it should be paid for at a significant amount of money. I'm talking like probably thousands and thousands of dollars. One ad company actually wanted to use me for UGC, which was absolutely amazing. I was so like, yes, please. But when I saw that the contract had the content using for perpetuity and my face and my voice was going to be in that content, and they only wanted to pay me 3 figures for that content, I said, nope, no way. That should be worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. If they want to put my face out there potentially forever, they need to pay for that. So if a contract does have perpetuity, really reconsider that contract. Either ask for it to be taken out, or they need to really pay for that, because they can do whatever they want with it, whatever your face, they can dub your voice. They need to pay for that kind of content. And lastly is that gifting is good, but it doesn't pay the bills. If you are brand new and you're just starting out and you want to get your name out there, build relationships with brands, I really do highly recommend doing a few gifting collaborations, just so then you can see what contracts look like, understand how brands communicate, whether that be on like Instagram DMs, emails, all of those types of things. Show them that you are interested and that you are keen to work together. But after a few gifting collaborations, I really highly recommend trying to put forth that you are worth to be paid for. Because again, you're giving up your time, you're giving up the potential earnings from other companies. And if you are working for free, companies will really try and take advantage of that. So just make sure, even if it's just like $50, $100, just put it out there that, hey, like I really love working with you. I'm really interested in building a relationship, but I'm no longer taking gifted collaborations. Do you have $100 in your budget for me to make a Instagram reel for you? Really try and put it out there that you are serious, that you are trying to build your brand as a business, because that's what it is. So yeah, gifting is good within reason, but I really don't recommend gifting very much. If you are obviously, trying to build up or grow your following, definitely put it out there. Do a couple of gifting collaborations. Don't do it with the idea that a brand needs to give you a specific brief, that you need to do it within a certain time limit. If they are giving you those kinds of briefing dot points that you need to hit in order to do the gifting collaboration, in my opinion, that's not worth it. That for me means it should be paid. If they are going to gift you and they want a reel done within 5 days, okay, well, if they want the reel done in 5 days, they actually need to pay me for that, because then that needs to be pushed forward and I need to potentially push other content back. So anything where they are expecting or you have an obligation to do a particular thing, that needs to be paid for, in my own personal opinion. So those are the 5 lessons that I quickly learned from doing brand collaborations. I have rejigged my media kit. If you don't know what a media kit is, it's basically got all of your rates, everything that's included, brands that you've worked for. I have redone that so many times. I actually just redid it again this morning, including that brands need to pay for ads per month. I just had it as ads just paid in general, but no, it actually needs to be per month. So things like this you do learn the more that you do it and the longer that you do it for. And everything, obviously, I will not be doing again, every mistake that I have done. But coming to what I have actually earned over the 3 paid collaborations and including the UGC content that I made for a brand. This is all before taxes, before HEX, before superannuation. So this is the total, and then 46% of that I get to keep. I made, that was terrible, $1,550 from those 3 brand collaborations. In my opinion, I actually think that I should have got a lot more for that amount of money, especially the content that I actually produced. One of the pieces of content across Instagram and TikTok has actually amassed over 1 million views, I think. And the engagement rate on that particular video is absolutely amazing, especially the UGC price that I worked for. That was way too low. We really should be up closer towards, I think, the $2,000 mark. Let me know what you think about that. $1,500. Do you think it's worth it for those 3 brand collaborations? If you want to see the actual content that I created for these brands, head over to bitesbyangie on TikTok and Instagram. That is where you will find me. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on the $1,500. I only kept about $800 of that. That is what is put into my savings. Everything else has been put aside for taxes, etc. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Do you think that it should be higher? Do you think that it should be lower? Let me know. Anyway, I will see you in a video sometime in the very near future. Catch you later.